Hello and welcome to my second movie about MBT, Main Battle Tank, a game by James M. Day, published by the American company GMT Games at 2016, a game of tank-to-tank combat on a tactical level in 1987 Germany. Previously, I made a movie about basic rules of this game. I made some minor mistakes in this movie. I know about them. They are pointed in the comments in Board Game Geek. But now I'm gonna be even more crazy, since I would like to make a movie about advanced game rules. And yes, this big scary book right here. I'm gonna do it in the way I did before, so one board, 3 tanks on each side to make it faster and, I hope, informative as well. This time I'm gonna use M16 for Americans, same tank like before, but for Soviets I'm gonna use T-72 AV. Because it is one of the most popular tanks in this game, it has some cool features I hope I'll be able to show you, since now we'll be using all the entire card. If you remember, in the basic games we are just using a small part of this, mostly this, that and some of this, but now we'll go for this and much more here. So it's gonna be, I'm pretty sure I will make some mistakes. I hope there will be more of them. I will do my best, but since I'm about to use all these advanced games rules along with some optional rules as well, well, it won't be easy, of course. We are starting with a spotting phase, of course. As for now, there are no tanks on each side, so no spotting. Next is a command phase. And that's where we have some new stuff to learn. First, I should mention it before, both sides have seasoned great tanks. So we have to check how many command counters we'll be able to use. Yes, in the basic games we can use as many command counters as we like, but now we have a limit of the command counters. We have to check available commands table. Like I said, we have seasoned units, and we have a number of the units here. We have 3 units for each side. In the season, this gives us 2 command counters for each side, and their command range is 1 hex. At the first turn it won't be a big deal, since our tanks are starting on the same hex, so I can put 1 counter and it will be move. But you will see later how important this stuff is in the future. Next, we have to check who has an initiative. This is an important thing I would like to state, because I made a mistake in the previous movie. The player who wins an initiative fires first, but moves as the second. So first player is the one who fires first, but second player moves first. That's something I never ever seen before in the war games, and that's probably why I screwed it. Alright, let's make an initiative roll. For Soviets it is 88, pretty good. As for Americans, 76. Not bad, but Soviets win. So, let's place Soviet initiative counter, and like I said before, Soviets win an initiative, Soviets may fire first, but they can't see anyone since they are off the board. So Americans start moving first. Let's move on American side. Oh, I should make it a bit darker here, I hope. Oh yes, now it's better. As for Americans, they are starting on this edge of the board, and as you may see, here is a brown road. This is a path. This is not a road, this is path, and we'll be utilizing path movement. It is a second number on the counter, and for M60 it is 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, and all this. And here they all shared one comment, and I'm gonna place spot move counter on them. Now let's move to Ruskies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's all. That's important because I made this mistake before. It is something I tend to made in most of my games. Someone pointed me. If we are utilizing a road or path movement, we have to end our move in the same way that road or path goes. I can't make such movement because it would be non-path, non-road movement. So our 3 tanks are ending their movement here. And that's all for the first turn. I'm gonna... oh, sorry. Yeah, I guess you know what I mean. Spot move. And that's all for the movement phase. There are there are also 2 air phases. I skipped because there are no air units on this board. I never mastered air units so far, so do not expect me making a movie about air units very quickly. Next we have adjustment phase. It is a very easy phase in the basic rules, but here we can save to the removing command counters. We can make some adjustments. So if we would like, we could move the turret of the tank in any direction I would like to, and the number of the hexes I can move this turret is pointed here. So for example, this Soviet has turret 2, so I could, and it is pointed here, so I could move 1, 2. So the turret would be pointed here, and it would be able to fire in the next turn right here. Hope I'll be able to show you how it works later. For now, I'm gonna remove command counters. I'm sorry they are not clipped. I know some clipped Nazis will be enraged because of that, but I don't have a proper clipping machine for now, and I do not have plans to buy it so far since they are damn expensive. Okay, that's all for the first turn. Yes, that's all. Okay, let's start the turn number 2. We are starting with a spotting phase, and as you may guess, no tank can see each other because of this forest here. We can check to make it sure. No way. So we can remove spot markers and place command counters. Like I said before, we have only 2 command counters for each side. As for Americans, I would like to divide this group, so I will put 1 command counter here on these 2 tanks, and 1 command, oh sorry, I should make it like this, and 1 command counter on this. As for these Soviets, I think I'll do this in the other way. I just give them 1 order of the move. And that's all for now. Let's check an initiative. Soviets 86, Americans 44. So Soviets has an initiative, and Americans are starting their movement. I'm gonna move this tank first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And these tanks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or maybe like this. They are seasoned, so they have 1 hex range of their command, so they may end this movement in the 1 hex distance. And of course, spot move for all of them. As for Soviets, they have 7 movement points for terrain, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here is brush. It has no effect on the movement of the tracked units. And of course, spot move. That's all for the movement phase. We can now move to the adduced phase. So I will remove command counters. Okay, I don't want to move any turrets of our tanks. So it will be all for the second turn. And we are starting turn number 3. Of course, with a spotting phase. These 2 are invisible for Soviets because of this forest, so I'm gonna remove these 2 spot counters. But here is different, because there is line of sight between this American tank and these 3 Soviet tanks. Let's move to the spotting. There are 3 kinds of spotting ranges for different kinds of units. For the leg units, for the small units, and for the vehicles. We have vehicles, so they have 20 hexes for the basic spotting. They have spot move, and they are in the brush. I have to say, if brush has any effect, yes, they are in the brush, and the brush is treated as light cover. So there is 20 hex range for American tanks. There is +2 because of the spot move on the Soviet counter on the Soviet tanks, and there is -1 for light cover. So there is 30 hexes range for this American tank to spot these Soviets. It is clearly enough. Same goes to the Soviets, plus there is no cover here, so they can see each other clearly. Now, we can give all these tanks their commands. As for Americans, I'm gonna give them move. They are in the 1 hex distance, so they can share this order. And as for this American tank, I'm gonna give him fire counter, fire order. And now Soviets. I have 2 command counters for the Soviets, so I will give move command for the upper tank and short halt for the 2 other tanks. At the end of the command phase, I can also create some smoke on the battlefield. Smoke makes situation much complicated, since it's harder to hit a unit that has a smoke on its hex. And I'm gonna place some I'm gonna try to place some smoke on this hex here. This American tank has smoke ammo. It has it is D5, so I have to roll D5 or less to place smoke on this hex. I'm gonna make a roll. I rolled 2. It is enough, so I'm placing smoke counter. It will be harder to hit such unit, but it also will be harder for this unit to hit any of the enemy vehicles. That's all for the command phase. We can now check who will have an initiative. Soviets 85, Americans 16. So Soviets have an initiative and they are firing their tanks first. And that's where the tricky part starts, since I'm gonna show you how to use your guns in the advanced game rules. Okay, let's start the fun. Guess it is alright here. I'm gonna put this Soviet tank that has to move below and place the 2 that are about to fire above. They both have short halt order. We're gonna check the distance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There is 12 hexes range, so we'll be using short range since it's 12. We have 2 different ammos for this gun. There is AP ammo and heat ammo. In general, heat is better against tanks, since we'll be using heat here. I might use AP here. I might use heat in some other combat just to show you the differences. So we have to check modifiers. As you will see, there is some more of them now. Target size, yes, +1. Target moving, no. I think, yes, it hasn't moved. Target in the light combat, in the light cover, no. Medium cover, no. Heavy cover, no. Short halt, yes. Soviet tanks have short halt and their stabilizers are 3. So we have -3. So +1, -3, this gives us -2. Shooter damaged, no. Shooter suppressed, no. Shooter broken, no. Brew up smoke, no. Smoke, yes. There is smoke on the hex we are about to fire. So we have -3. It gives us now -5. Thermal imager smoke, no, because this is for night rules. Barrage, no. Overwatch, no. Ammo limit, no. Defensive fire, no. Dual fire, same, no. ATGM, no. NATO target acquisition, no. Shooter grade, no, because seasoned units have no any special because of that. But weapon sight, this is something new. Tanks have different kind of sights that they may use to fire most effectively on the enemy. These Soviet tanks have two kind of sights. There is laser and optical. We are firing on the short distance, so we would have +1 because of the laser sight. But there is a smoke here, and when we are firing out of the hex with smoke, through the hex with smoke, or into the hex with smoke, laser is not effective. So no laser for this, and optical is 0. So we'll be firing with -5 on the short range. Short, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 35. Nothing impressive. I have to roll 35 first for the upper tank. I rolled 54, so it missed. And from the lower tank, 91. So both tanks missed. Gotta place it on the move and spot counter on the fire side. And now our American may return fire. It has fire command. So how about this? There was 12 hexes range, so there is short range for both. And as for modifiers, target size no, target moving yes. Soviet tanks are moving, so they have yes, they are all moving, so no problem. There is -2 because they are moving. They are not in any cover. We are not using shot halt. Our tank is not damaged in any way, but there is smoke on the hex our tank is, so we have -3 plus -2. This gives us -5. Now nothing. Yes, NATO target acquisition bonus +1. All NATO units that are firing their guns have +1, so we have -4 now. And shooter grade and weapon sight. No modifiers for shooter grade, but as for sight, American M60 has laser sight and stereo sight. Laser sight is not working because there is smoke, but stereo sight is working. We have stereo and +1. Notice that if we have both, we are only using the one and the one who is better. We can't use both sides at once. So this gives us -3 on the short range. Yes. Short, -3, it's 49. And we are firing on the tank above. Let's see. 95. Miss. I hope to show you effects of the hit. They are even more complicated, but guess it's not for now. So that was all for firing. Let's go to moving. It was Soviet initiative, so Americans are moving first. They have a movement command here, and they are about 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's all for them. As for Soviets, these two tanks may utilize half of their terrain movement. They have 7 movement points. So they can use 3.5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Since they are seasoned, they can share an order, but they have to be in 1 hex range. As for this tank, it has move, so it may use 7 movement points. I should give them spot fire.